How you guys doing? This is the inaugural episode of Fire Me Up with Matt and Jimmy. I'm Matt.
I'm Jimmy. Fire me up. Let's go.
Fire me up. So basically on this podcast, we're going to be talking about sports. Basically, the breaking news and hot topics going on in sports. And we're going to give some fire takes on them, our opinions, and we'll be talking about NBA, NFL, and MLB. And basically whatever is going on, we'll be touching on and giving our thoughts and opinions on. So every time we have this podcast, we'll be talking about like the breaking news and stuff and what's going on in the world and the sports world. And obviously, the biggest thing going on for the past couple months has been the COVID-19 and its impact on the sports world with quarantine and all that stuff. So, Jim, what's your honest opinions on how like the NBA season and MLB season have been affected so far?
Well, obviously they're not playing, so I mean it's first time in probably over 100 years that all these sports haven't been played. Right now, I mean, myself included, everyone around the world, no one's seeing sports. There's nothing going on television. You turn on ESPN, it's like a game from 1960, and it's just not fun anymore. I don't know. Everyone's stuck in their house. I know Giannis hasn't touched a basketball in months, supposedly. I just saw a picture of Jokic today. He looks like Flat Stanley. So
yeah, a lot of people are taking. I would say a lot of people like athletes taking this time to either like work out, get stronger and stuff. Like obviously Jokic got skinny, so he must have been doing a lot of probably a lot of cardio and stuff like that.
I mean, good for him. I mean, he still moves in slow motion on the basketball court.
Right. Nah.
It's whatever.
But yeah, basically I think the same thing. Like it sucks not be able to watch sports or anything. Like NBA would have been the finals this week, and not being able to see that kind of sucks. But MLB season obviously being delayed is terrible if they're even going to play. At least NBA has a plan going on when they're going to start up.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the end of the season? You think like Damian Lillard will play or what?
Yeah, I think he said he'll play if they have a legitimate chance, which they do. Because they're all in them Pelicans, Grizzlies, Spurs, Suns, whatever. They're all in the fight for the last spot. So I think that he'll obviously. I think everyone is gonna play. Like I know there's been speculations of players saying they're not gonna play because there's no fans or whatever, and I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's gonna be like March Madness where they just roll out the next game in like 30 minutes after.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be a different experience, but like it's better than nothing. It's good to at least see stuff going on, seeing sports for once. Even if they had no fans, it's gonna be a little weird for us for them as players, but for us, it's the same thing. We're just gonna watch them play on TV.
I feel like a perfect playoff bracket would just put up the best 16 teams instead of doing 8 from the East, 8 from the West. I feel like.
Well, I think basketball should be that way in general.
Well, yeah, in general, I feel like it should be like that. But I feel like with the way that they're ending this season, with how they had to end it, and like what's happening now, is I feel like they should just take the best 16 teams. I feel like they should play like 11 games, like regular season when they come back, somewhere around like 11 to 15. Or wherever they feel is comfortable, and then just roll with the best 16 teams. And just if you don't like it, just you got to deal with it. I mean, you can't really. It's out of your control what happened with the season. At least they get to play. At least they're
That's
getting.
The thing. They all talk about how much they love the game, so there's no reason for them to sit out or not play even if there's no fans. Like they're still getting a chance to do what they love to do, and they're still getting paid, so it's whatever. Like.
Yeah, it's not like the MLB where they got to take out like 25% of their salary. Like I feel like that is just.
That's a whole different story. I think that's ridiculous that they're arguing that still. That's whatever though. If they don't play, they don't play. I think baseball is a dying breed anyway right now. Honestly, the popularity is going to drop so much if the players decide not to play. If they don't have a season because the players won't take a pay cut. The popularity of the sport's going to drop so much. At least basketball is still going to have the popularity and the ratings because everyone's going to be watching on TV. NFL, same thing.
After this like lockout kind of thing, what do you think the final series could be? You think the Lakers stay hot from how they ended it to get to the finals?
I'd say that any team in the West has a legit chance because Lakers, yeah, they're hot, and I don't know if they'll keep that up, but they have a good chance. I wouldn't count out Kawhi ever in the playoffs ever. Rockets still have two of the top 10 players in the
I feel like
league.
the East is a big question mark. You never know who could get to the finals from the East.
The East, no, you never know in the East. East could be any team at
Because you
all.
want to say the Bucks, but you don't know.
I wouldn't.
Last year, the Raptors, I believe they shut them down the whole series.
I would still bet on taking the Celtics over. The Celtics will probably play Sixers first round. They'll wash them. They'll probably sweep them. They own them in the playoffs. Then who else is up there? Pacers are up there, but I can't see them doing much. Bucks and Raptors, I can't really see the Bucks going to the finals this year. That's the thing. I mean, yeah, they have Giannis and all those guys, but I can't see them beating the Celtics or even this. Yeah, I can't see them beating the Celtics in the series.
Yeah, they got a loaded roster. They got a lot of depth.
Exactly, that's the thing.
They might have the most depth in the league.
They do. Raptors, obviously, you can bet on because Siakam, and then they have some guys with playoff experience in there. But the East is more of an open book. It could be anyone. I'm not sure what the standings are right now. Oh, the Heat are up there too, but I don't really see Jimmy Butler. And
I think overall, I think I'm just gonna take LeBron and AD.
I'd take anyone in the
over
West over anyone in the East. But there's 6 teams that I think can get in the West. The West is loaded, so even one of those teams in the play-in in the 8th spot, still have a chance.
So we'll switch gears a little bit. We talked about it a little bit back. The MLB. It's kind of a weird subject right now because the Players Association and the league can't really agree on a specific salary percentage that the players get and how many games. I know they keep going back and forth between 76 games, 46 games, 75% of their salary, 60-something% of their salary. What do you think's fair? You think they should get their full salary, or you think they should get a percentage of it?
Well, I don't know if they should get their full salary because if they're going to play without fans, then all that stuff that goes on in the stadium, all the revenue they're being made from that, they're not going to get all the concession stands, all the advertising at the stadium, all the sales of jerseys and stuff at the stadium, all that stuff. They're not going to be getting the money from that. So I think that they should take a pay cut and just be willing to accept it because, again, they're getting their chance to play.
Yeah, I was thinking about it both ways. I understand why they want to get paid because that's how they make their living. And guys that aren't making even $1 million are going to end up with if say they're making $750,000, they're not getting much money out of it. But then the guys that make the league minimum that are $500,000, they're making maybe $300,000. That's a big amount for them because that's what they make their living off for the year. But then at the same time, it's also almost it could be less than half the amount of a regular season. So that I understand why teams why it would need to be a percentage because that's just then you're not gaining money if you're not getting fans at the stadium. So they it's kind of forced. You're kind of forced to not give your teammate or the players full salary.
Exactly. I think they should just be able to accept it though, because either way they're gonna be making money and playing the game. And their season, I think they got denied. What did they get denied? 65 games, 75 games,
76 games, and 75% of their salary.
That got denied.
Yeah. They want to play more. They want to go towards 90 or.
So what would happen to November, October?
No, it would be. They said it would be regular times. I'm pretty sure, the playoffs still. During the regular.
Yeah, whatever
times.
they can get done, it'd be great to see baseball again because.
And the other scary part about the short season is that, say you go on in 20 games, you go 5 and 15. That could possibly be half your season if they're playing 60 games. That could be almost half your season. And then say a team gets hot like the Marlins or the Pirates, a team that if you're in a regular season, a normal 162 game season, they're falling 25 games out of the playoff race, and they could possibly get into the playoffs because a good team does poorly in the short season. It could change what you would think the season would be going into it.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's gonna be nothing set in stone this
No.
year. You'll say
You
even
just
like
gotta
the
be-
Yankees or any
you just-
team
yeah,
has a bad little stretch.
You just got to be hot the whole season, basically.
Exactly.
because-
And everyone's stats and stuff's gonna be changed. Like you can see like a Garrett Cole, let's say he has like 3 bad starts. And then if they go for the 5-man rotation, three bad starts, 4
Yeah.
bad starts.
Even though the baseball hasn't even started, they still got to do another spring training stint. Who would be your 1 seeds for AL and NL? Obviously everyone would want to say like the Yankees for the American League, Dodgers for National League. Do you have any like sleepers that you think could get up there possibly?
That's the thing, though. I don't want to sound like a hype beast or anything, but I really do think it'd be Yankees and Dodgers because those are the 2 most stacked teams in both the divisions. I mean, NL, they have. I mean, I can see the Braves doing good this year. I think Cardinals, honestly, this year are going to be make a little bit of a splash. And the AL, even though Astros had the whole situation going, I still see them win the AL West.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see the Angels get a little bit more pitching, but they didn't really. They put all their money towards Rendon. They tried to get Garrett Cole, but the Yankees obviously went way millions over the Angels in their offer for Garrett Cole. But I know they got
a lineup, the Angels, but the pitching staff's really lacking.
they just drafted a pitcher. Who knows if he'll ever come about?
You'll never hear about him for a couple of years anyway. That's the thing with
So obviously they're drafting need, but they needed to sign some pitchers. They really didn't do that, so they're definitely going to struggle. I mean, all they really got is Ohtani.
Yeah, their lineup has some pieces, obviously Trout, Rendon, all those guys, but nothing special though. AL West is really like AL West. Who do you got winning the AL West? Astros.
Then you got to go with the Astros, and then the Angels in second. I don't know. The A's are still pretty good. They're like always a sleeper team.
Yeah, though that's what we were saying before about the teams getting hot and stuff. They always get hot in a stretch and then they fall off.
Yeah,
because they have a good lineup too. They got Chapman, Olsen, or not. Olsen.
I would say for the National League, for me, if the Dodgers, I don't know, I could see the not the Braves. I could see the trying to think of the team here.
Brewers. I like the Brewers too. I can't see them going too far though. NL Central has. I like the Cardinals.
I'm trying to think. I had a team in mind that I thought could give the Dodgers a run.
Well, who made it last year to the NLCS?
It was the.
Was it the Braves?
Dodgers and.
Who was it? Why am I drawing a blank? I don't know.
It was the Dodgers and.
Nationals.
Yeah, Dodgers and Nationals.
I can't see the Nationals again even making anywhere near close for your run to that. I see them. They're not in the best. I don't even think they're the best team in that division.
They were at one point. They were like 18 games back, and it would have been a joke for them to even.
Yeah, I don't see them being the best team in that division though. I like a lot of teams more than them. I'd rather. I mean, obviously Mets really aren't anything special, but. On paper, Mets have a all right team.
The Mets, I feel like with the Mets, it's just, I don't know. They always disappoint. Well, I feel like they always disappoint. They're never like. I mean, last year they went 83-79, but then when you listen to like on the radio, they're supposed to win like 94 games, and then they always disappoint. They got Pete Alonso now, and Mets fans look at him like he's the next. I don't know, Lou Gehrig. I don't know. He had an impressive rookie season. So did Judge, and all Mets fans automatically think that Alonso is going to be like this star-studded power hitter and hit like 60 home runs every year.
Yeah, I think he has potential to hit like 40 home runs, be a solid power hitter, but I don't think he's all he's cracked up to be. I mean, he only had the one season. But look at Judge too. Judge had the one season where he hit 50, and then what do he hit, like 35 the next season or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that, he's gonna be the same type of player like that. Like they're gonna be obvious power hitters throughout their career, but they're not gonna hit 50 home runs every year.
Yeah.
You can't get too hyped up over someone like that.
Speaking of like sleeper teams before about the A's, I would say sleeper team in the American League could be the Rays. They're always like in there. I feel like them and the A's are kind of similar. They're kind of like overlooked
Yeah,
because
they get hot
because they're in a good division with a bunch of good teams.
They'll get hot for a little while, and they never know how long they'll stay hot for. That's the thing. But with the shortened season, anything can happen. They can.
Yeah, definitely. But last thing for the MLB, then we'll switch gears. In your opinion, living around the New York area, who would you say the best pitcher in New York is? Would you say Garrett Cole of the Yankees, our favorite team, and be biased of that? Or would you say Jacob deGrom is better than Cole?
It's a very, very tough situation because ERA wise, if you go by like deGrom's ERA was in the ones last 2 years. I think it was in the ones the past 2 years.
I will look that up.
I know Garrett Cole's in like the mid twos or whatever.
We're both a Yankees fan. His ERA was 2.43.
Yeah.
Last year was a 1.7.
I think both of them are equally as dominant. I think that
I would say
because considering the Mets won't make the playoffs or anything like that, you look at that like. Garrett Cole's gonna do more. They're both. Jacob deGrom is gonna be like he always is, like 11-11 with like a 2.5 ERA or whatever. Yeah. Garrett Cole have like 22 wins.
The problem is if he was on, say you put deGrom on the Yankees with the way they score runs, 11-8 would end up being like I don't know.
He'd have at least 16 wins.
It would be like 15-3 because the Mets can't score runs. His ERA is 2.43. I know like Paxton had like a 3, maybe like
he almost had
4 ERA, and he was still winning games because the Yankees averaged like 4 or 5, 6 runs a game.
Exactly. Domingo Germán was just like a 20-game winner.
Even though deGrom hasn't really seen much of the playoffs besides their 2015 run to the World Series when they lost, I would say Garrett Cole alone, after watching what he did to the Yankees last playoffs, the Yankees had the Astros, but the 2 games Garrett Cole pitched, he beat them both. They were good games, but he held them to one or two runs both games, and that was the deciding factor in the series. And now getting Garrett Cole on the Yankees just brings them over the top. You know, even though I'm a Yankees fan, I feel like I gotta say deGrom's better. He's been dominant for a few more years than Cole, but I feel like Garrett Cole in New York, I feel like he can definitely rise to the occasion. Hopefully, we're all hoping he can with the amount of money he's making now,
if he ends up being a bust, if he like has a bad season,
I don't think he'll be a bust.
If it's a bad season or even like not like a dominant season, I think that's still gonna haunt. Not gonna haunt, but it's gonna look bad for the Yankees.
I don't think he'll have a bad season because I think he's a top 2 pitcher. You could go either or deGrom or Cole, either way. But I feel like the only way they would say it's a bust is if they don't win a few World Series out of him with his possible 10 years for the Yankees. But you never know, especially this year. Like the Yankees were favored to win it, but now you never know how many games they could play or what could happen with the season.
Baseball's so weird because you never know if a pitcher can make you win a World Series. That's the thing. It could be a deciding factor. That's the reason why they didn't go to the World Series this time. So
yeah. All right, and to cap off the night, we'll talk a little bit about the NFL. Really nothing going on in the off season besides the draft. Do you have anything you want to add in about the NFL draft that happened recently?
Let's see. Well, being a Giants fan,
nothing really. I mean, they got their needs.
McKinney,
really.
I like McKinney in the second round. McKinney's is a steal. He was an easy first rounder.
They got their needs. It wasn't a pretty draft, but when you look at it, it's not like when you turn on your Madden franchise and you're gonna draft all your skill players. They didn't really do that. They drafted what they needed.
And I didn't like Andrew Thomas at first, but then like after like looking into like his, he was a beast.
It's a giant thing to do where you don't want to follow the board and you want to take a guy that might go a little bit later because they think they can make a statement by doing that like the year prior. They took Daniel Jones when they could have probably got him in the mid-first round, maybe even late first round. So I don't know. It's just something the Giants like to do. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with them. I was pissed at when they first took him, but then looking back on it, like you said, I mean, they needed to take linemen.
Yeah, they need a lineman because if they can get a lineman and Daniel Jones can, because there was obviously times where he showed that he can be like an actual starting quarterback.
His first game against the Bucs, I thought he was the real deal. He looked good,
and he obviously has weapons he could use. So they just need the line to show up to block for him. The defense is a joke. Defense needs to be changed.
They're still years away from being competitive again, but it's a good start, especially with Saquon, young quarterback. Need to build up that line.
You never know.
Defense.
And so being NFC East, being the division it is, and you never know what's going on. Anything can happen. I'm not going to say they're going to win this year, but
no, I say they win could. I say they probably win like 5-6 games.
Yeah, it's reasonable. A Giants record winning 5-6 games. That's the thing. But Cowboys. I think Cowboys may have had the best draft.
They got a steal. They got a steal late in the first round. CeeDee Lamb, arguably the best receiver in the draft. I mean, he's a good complementary piece when you got Amari Cooper and
Michael Gallup, all those guys. Yeah. Their offense is loaded. Between them and the Browns, if them and the Browns don't make the Super Bowl this year, then I don't know what's wrong because the Browns are the most stacked team in the league, and they had like one of the best drafts too. They got Grant Delpit in the second round.
Yeah,
I forgot they got
they got Jedrick Wills Jr. in the first,
and him, and they got another receiver too late. I'm pretty sure, and they're a loaded team. They should. I right now, if I were to pick a team coming to the AFC, I'd pick obviously the Chiefs. But I think there's no reason for the Browns not to give them a run for their money.
I feel draft-wise, I feel a team that slept on with their draft was the Broncos. I like their first two receivers they picked in the first 2 rounds. Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. They're not really known for having receivers, the Broncos, I feel like. I feel like they have like those underrated receivers.
Courtland Sutton.
So they got Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler to pair with Courtland Sutton. I think it's pretty good with their up-and-coming quarterback, Drew Lock, who's pretty good last year.
Honestly, they have a stacked offense too.
Yeah,
Noah Fant, Melvin Gordon, and Philip Lindsay.
They're not bad. They needed receivers.
Line's decent, and their defense is good too. They'll AFC West actually a pretty good division, honestly.
Yeah,
Chiefs them.
It should be an interesting NFL season. Hopefully that gets to start on time. I know. I'm sure it will, but you never know with what's going to happen if there'll be another break out of this. Hopefully there's not, so that little normalcy could come back to our lives. But as far as I see, it's really it that's going on right now in the sports world.
Yeah, it's tough to talk about things going on when really there's not much going on at all. But like whenever there's like stories that come out or anything, we'll probably drop a podcast in there.
I know
because if anyone ever signs any contracts and stuff, we'll talk about it. Like obviously there's still NFL free agents like Cam Newton and what's his name, Clowney, who still haven't signed. So there's still stuff that could go on, trades or whatever, big offseason moves, and that's basically that's it.
So we'll definitely be back soon, but stay tuned. Peace.